Get ready. Get set. It's time for the Basement View. Hey, good evening. How's everybody today? Man, I gotta tell you, Monday the 10th of March. Boy, hey, Lisa, what's happening? I gotta tell y'all, before I tell you anything, subscribe, hit that thumbs up, ring that bell, and it will alert you to when we on. I gotta tell you, I hope this thing don't start buffering again. I just saw a buffer. Hopefully, it only do it that one time. Here we go. Let me see if I can reload this thing. See if that helps. And if it don't, it don't. We're just gonna have to get through it. Okay? Hey, James, what's happening? I do see it buffering, so, we're going to have to get through it. Don't know why it decides to do that sometimes. Anyway, did anybody see the stock market? Did anybody at all see that stock market today? I got to tell you. Hey, Elise, what's happening? How you doing today? Charles, what's up? I gotta tell y'all, today was a doozy. Today was a doozy. Hey, Ronnie, crash. Well, there's been a whole lot of mini crashes, but I tell you what I'm gonna do. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna show y'all a chart of today's activity. I'm gonna show you a chart just today. Okay. Here's a chart of what went on today. Look at that. That is terrible. Okay. Now, what I'm going to show now is what's happened with Trump in office for the last month. Look at that. That is one of the ugliest charts I have seen in a long time. Okay? Now, I'm going to show you what the chart looked like under Joe Biden the last year. Look at that. So, somebody tell me, who was better for the stock market? All right? Somebody tell me who was better for the stock market. Man. Let me refresh this thing one more time, because for some reason, I got a little delay going. Hopefully it'll catch up. Anyway, we're going to get through this. So, those charts are indicative of what Donald Trump has meant to this stock market. Now, I got to tell you, I am absolutely surprised. I did not know that he was lug-headed enough to do the stuff he's doing. I didn't know he would mess up the money. By the way, got to put that up there, because it's about to get ugly. I guarantee you, he getting all kind of phone calls because he fucking up the money. Okay? They ain't gonna like you fucking up the money. Say Ronnie, he like to talk about billions. That we can see billions crash because of them. Yeah, and let me tell you, you are right when you said billions. I mean billions. And did anybody? Oh, what Elon Musk is doing to Tesla should be a crime in itself. It's down by half. From this, okay, one share stock, $428 down to $220. Talk about ruining a stock. Now, check this out. This is the funniest thing about the stock market. The analysts that analyze stocks, this big pullback, this is a buying opportunity as far as they're concerned. And normally, I would agree. But you got a buffoon at the helm. Now, normally, a nice big 5% correction, man, that's the time to jump in and buy, gobble up some stuff. But this is on its way to 10%. And 10% is what's called a technical correction. And 10% is trouble. 10% says we in a recession or we headed that way fast. So this is not looking good. Not looking good at all. I had to laugh because I was listening to all of the talking heads about the market, and they are trying to talk it back up. But every time they give investors a reason to think it's a good time to buy, here comes that chucklehead in Washington, say something so lousy that it just goes farther down. So this is going to be a wild ride. But at some point, what I'm looking for and what I want you all to look for, listen for these factors. Listen for the GDP number for the first quarter. If it is positive and very little positive, if it's in the ones, that ain't good. If it's negative, that's terrible. So listen for the first quarter GDP. You're going to hear it somewhere. You're going to hear it if you pass by a radio that a wino happens to have on the corner. You're going to hear it somewhere. That first quarter GDP, everybody's looking for it. And we'll hear it after March. So be on the lookout. Other news today. I told you all last week, when Trump hops himself on the camera and says, I'm going to start 25% tariffs on all of these goods starting Monday. You mess me up, Ronnie. You do it to me every time. Say 60 days in, it's making your head hurt. Girl, let me tell you, how you think I feel? I follow the financial markets all the time and politics all the time. That's just been my thing for years. And to sit and have to watch this is foolishness on a level this is some dumb shit on a level that, you know, how you always say, some people, you could put them in a room with a gun and one bullet, and he'll come out shot in the foot. This fool will come out with 5 toes shot off, didn't have number 1 bullet. I mean, it's just, it's a shame. It's a shame how stupid it is. So, let's just start this off this way. Like I was about to say, Trump starts the tariffs on Monday. On Tuesday, he says, I'm thinking about postponing the tariffs. On Wednesday, he postpones the tariffs. I'm going to start them back up in 2 weeks. 2 weeks comes, he starts the tariffs. The next day, I'm going to delay tariffs on certain stuff for a month. Now, meanwhile, would you believe this idiot thinks that all of the other countries are going to stop and start the same way he is? Check this out, y'all. This is Canada today.
For weeks now, we've been faced with so much uncertainty coming from President Trump. Each day brings new tariff threats. Now, President Trump is threatening tariffs on steel and aluminum. He's pointing his finger at dairy and lumber, shifting timelines, different excuses, chaos and confusion. It's hurting workers, it's hurting businesses, it's hurting investments, and it's hurting families on both sides of the border. It needs to end. That's why I've been crystal clear. Until these tariffs are off the table, until the threat of tariffs is gone for good, Ontario will not relent. We will not back down. Pausing some tariffs, making last-minute exemptions, it won't cut it. We need to end the chaos once and for all. We need to sit down, work together, and land a fair deal. A deal that gives businesses the confidence to invest. A deal that gives workers the security they need and deserve. Until then, Ontario will keep up the fight. We will apply maximum pressure to maximize our leverage. That's why today we're moving forward with a 25% surcharge on electricity exports. For the 1.5 million American homes and businesses that Ontario powers, homes and businesses in Minnesota, Michigan, and New York. This surcharge will cost families and businesses in these states up to $400,000 each and every single day. On an average, this will add around $100 per month to the bills of hardworking Americans. Let me be clear, I will not hesitate to increase this charge. If necessary, if the United States escalates, I will not hesitate to shut the electricity off completely. Believe me when I say I do not want to do this. I feel terrible for the American people because it's not the American people who started this trade war. It's one person who's responsible. That's President Trump. I'd rather be working together. I want to sell the U.S. more energy, more electricity, more critical minerals. I want to make Canada and the United States the richest, most successful, safest, most secure 2 countries on the planet. But as Premier, my #1 job is to protect the people of Ontario and in hand protect the people of Canada. I will do whatever it takes. I will fight like I've never fought before to protect Ontario. Friends, none of this makes sense. Costly tariffs against your closest friends and allies do not make sense. The U.S. markets have lost trillions in value. Companies are second-guessing investments into the American economy. American workers' jobs are at risk as we speak right now. Cost of hardworking American families will only go up. It doesn't have to be this way. We are stronger when we work together. I hope we can get back to working together, creating jobs, growing our economies, lowering costs for families in both countries. We don't get there by easing up. We will remain strong. We will be relentless. We will do whatever it takes to protect Ontario.
In addition to these new retaliatory tariffs from China, Canada's tariffs on the U.S. are still in place. Last week, it put a 25% levy on things like beer, fruit and vegetables, shoes, cosmetics, and more. And today, Ontario starts charging a 25% surcharge on electricity to 3 U.S. states, Minnesota, Michigan, and New York. The tariff war and opposition to President Trump has actually unified Canadians. Listen to these remarks from Mark Carney, who is expected to be Canada's next prime minister. He was just elected to head the Liberal Party yesterday, soon potentially to be sworn in as PM.
The Canadian government has rightly retaliated and is rightly retaliating with our own tariffs that will have maximum impact in the United States and minimum impact here in Canada. And my government will keep our tariffs on until the Americans show us respect.
Well, I got to tell you, 25%. And one of those states, Michigan. You know who in Michigan, right? You remember them is it undecideds or what were they called? You remember the Palestinian community there in Michigan, that out in Dearborn, Michigan, that thought, hey, Vanessa, what's happening? Them Palestinians out there that thought it was a good idea to vote for Trump. Oh, we know he's going to be bad, but he ain't going to be that bad. Yeah, how you like him now? I mean, golly. And like the man said, they not going to be stopping and starting. They're going to put them on, leave them, and call it good. And you know what? The Canadian people are a little different than we are. They some pretty vindictive folks. They don't really care. That's where they eat their pets. No, Ronnie, come on now, get a mitt and get in the game. No, that was Ohio, where they're eating the dogs. No, that was out in Ohio. That's J.D. Vance's neck of the woods where they eat the pets. No, Dearborn, Michigan, that's where the largest Palestinian community is. And they were mad at Joe Biden because he couldn't make Netanyahu stop. Since you can't make Netanyahu stop, we're mad at you. We're not going to vote for you. We are upset that you can't do what we want you to do. So we're voting for Trump. All right. How'd that work out? Now your light and gas going to be about $100 a month higher. Man. And you know what? Electricity, that's something you need these days. And old Goofy is steady going around talking about the country he puts the tariff on pays the tariff. That is not the truth. When you put a tariff on a country, your people pay the tariff. Now, here's the difference with what this gentleman just did. What he did was not a tariff. He put a surcharge directly on the customers. How about them apples? He said, I'm going to put a hurting on your people. And y'all can blame Donald Trump. I'm going to put a hurting on your ass. Now you go blame Trump. I don't want to do it, but I'm going to do it. So, this is what we stuck with. So back to the tariff. You put a tariff on another country. Canada puts tariffs on us. That means their people pay the tariff. See how that works? Canada puts tariffs on the U.S. So when the U.S. sends a good into Canada, the Canadian company buying the good pays the tariff. And then that company passes it down to the people. Here's one difference. The Canadian people, they'll stop buying it. See how that works? With all the jobs lost, he's been in office, he probably wouldn't care about all the people that have to pay the extra utility bills. Hey, Charles, I think you're right. I think you're right. If you put people in the streets, you certainly don't care whether their bills are paid, now do you? If you throw them out in the street, hey, that's a good idea, Ronnie. Get that firewood ready, you know. Wish I had one. That might be my next project. You know, shoot. At least, hey, I'll go out and live in the garage or something. I can burn something out there, I'm sure. But the Canadian people, they don't mind a tariff because they'll leave it on the shelf. They've proved that a number of times. They will leave it on the shelf and not buy it. So guess what? The American company that sent it won't get a dime. Not a dime. And they don't mind doing it. That's the thing. They don't have a problem not buying American goods. We, on the other hand, we ain't got a whole lot of choice, huh? Now, let's get something straight. Canada buys a ton of stuff from the American people. And it's going to hurt. The thing is, they don't mind. They're all good with it. That's the difference between us and them. It's going to be some crying going on here. And I think we know that. Like I said, I'm just giving it a little while. Let it get warm. Folks can get outside and realize their bills ain't getting paid. You know, that's kind of what I'm looking for. What's going to happen when the weather get bad, get good, get warmer, and folks start getting outside? You know, folks start acting crazy anyway when it get warmer. Can get loose. Man, and remember, we got the tariffs. You're losing money in your 401k. You got the government laying off, firing, and offering buyouts. That's going to trigger private sector layoffs, firings, and buyouts. Soon there will not be anybody doing the shopping. Now check this out. Here's what's going to start happening. And I'm pretty sure it already did start happening. The people that own the malls, they're going to send a guy out in the parking lot. They're going to say, go out there and count them cars. And that guy going to go out in the parking lot, and he going to, y'all seen the guy riding around in the little security truck? He going to be riding up and down the aisles, counting the cars. And they going to send that guy out there several times a week, count them cars out in that parking lot. And one of them days, it's going to be 10 or 20 less cars. And that's probably going on today. Okay? It's probably 10 or 20 less today. And tomorrow, it's going to be 10 or 20 less. All right? When that parking lot start getting significantly less cars in it, old buddy in the White House, he going to be getting some serious phone calls. And they going to be from them folks that, you know, count. You know the ones. You know, the ones that don't nobody talk about. Them people going to be getting him a phone call. So, I can't wait. I want to see what he had to say to them. So, on tariffs, Trump says he's putting the tariffs in so people can bring jobs to America. Do you know how long it takes to start a company in America? Okay? If you want to be a company and start it in America, you know, it takes more than a week or 2 weeks to start a company. So you're going to have tariffs on until people move companies. Okay. Let's have a look at one merchant, one businessman. Let's hear his thoughts on it.
She raises a very interesting question, because I know there's been a lot of emphasis, Chris, on manufacturing, and we've allowed our manufacturing to basically go offshore, and now everybody's complaining and whining about we want to have it made in America. Donald Trump doesn't clearly know how a car is made today. And talk about, well, we need it all made here. Well, no, you can't have it all made here for the exact reason you just laid out. The infrastructure to make it is not in place. As you noted in your quote, the capability to make the product just isn't here. So where do we turn that corner now? As an entrepreneur and business owner, as someone who's got a product that needs to be manufactured, you have to go to China to do it. And there are economic reasons for that. How do you turn the economics around so that you can, when you make that call, have someone actually manufacture the product that you want to sell?
Well, that's a very big question, and I may not be the best person. You may need to talk to an economist about how you get jobs back here. But I mean, if you look at think about all the small general stores and mom and pop shops that were across America decades ago, and there's Walmart now, and people are not willing to pay the prices for that independence. The people want low prices and they want reasonable quality, and that's what they've gotten. So, I think there's possibly, could I find an injection molding company here in America to make a Go Bites Uno? Probably. But, I think we may have the capability. Certainly, we have a lot of technical expertise. I just don't think this is a focus for this country now. Mass manufacturing, labor-intensive products. We just don't focus on that. And, you'd have to talk to economists about why that is. But China's very, very good at this. And we have a long relationship with them. They make great products. They've taken my business very seriously for 18 years. And, we're small. We're a very small company, but, we're sold in major retailers across America, across the world. And when I can't get a call back from a company saying, can you make this simple product? I don't know what to say. It just seems like there's not the interest, and that, I have to figure out how to make it work. So we're going to make it work in China. That's what we're going to do. And we're going to raise our prices to accommodate these tariffs, like any sane economist will tell you is going to happen.
So you are planning to raise your prices. What does that mean for the consumers that either they go to your website, which I was just on your website scrolling, next time I go glamping, I know where to go, or please. Folks that go to REI. What does that mean for the consumers? Well,
it means they're going to pay more. They're going to pay more for these products. And, no one wants to hear that. No one likes that. But that's the reality. If you're going to if I import $100,000 of Go Tubes into America now, it's going to cost me $20,000 more to import it. This whole policy is based, in my view, on a fallacy and a fantasy. The fallacy is that the foreign country pays for these tariffs. Wrong. I'm a U.S. citizen with a U.S. company. I'm the one paying for these tariffs, and my only recourse is to pass this on to the consumers. So that's what I'm going to do, and that's the fallacy. The fantasy is that you're going to bring these jobs back to America with these tariffs. I'm sorry, they're not coming back. It's just not, it's just not happening. And I tried my best to see if we could make this here, and there was zero interest in it. So I think it's a fallacy and a fantasy. And yeah, consumers are going to see higher prices. Every other entrepreneur I know that makes products overseas, particularly in China, is looking at a price increase right now. And so it's coming. There's a wave of price increases coming.
Chris Miksovsky, thank you very much for your time and your insight.
All right. Well, don't take my word for it. Shit's gonna cost more. Okay? It's just the way it is. And I'm gonna tell you a way that you and I can affect the way this works. Keep your money in your pocket. If you want to affect the way this works, keep your money in your pocket. If you want to put the squeeze on them, let them raise them prices and we don't show up to buy shit. Okay? Let them raise the prices and we don't show up to buy nothing. Imagine that. Imagine when the company has paid 25% to Trump and then we don't show up to buy it. You want to hear some screaming. We can do something. We can do something. Right now, there is a blackout against Amazon for this week. It was from the 7th to the 14th. Wednesday, I'll have that queued back up, and I'll show the different flyers. I'm going to try and grab every flyer I can find and keep it on here. Sometimes I'll erase them when I'm doing some other stuff. But I'm going to grab every one I can find and keep it on here. And because we're going to support all of the blackouts. All of the economic blackouts we can find, we're going to support the hell out of them, okay? Because that is the one thing that they will truly understand, okay? That's the one thing. Hey, that's just the way it is. And we got to do our part, right? We got to take care of us. Let's keep our money in our pockets. So, and in the meantime, if nothing else, Ronnie, this is for you. If nothing else, take a moment and just think about how stupid this dude is. Well, you know, when you're starting to get that headache, stop for a minute and think, this is the dumbest son of a gun I've ever seen in my life. You know, and to think people line up. Let me tell you how stupid America is. People line up to buy dumb shit from an idiot. Did you see the shoes? What about the Bible? You know, the meme cards, the NFTs. Oh, and now he had to have a coin. He's got a meme coin now. And what that coin provides. Follow me with this. He's got a crypto coin. And when you create a crypto coin, you create it out of thin air. And yeah, Ronnie, people lined up to vote for the nut. Absolutely. But when you got a crypto coin, you make X amount of them. And you have the supply. and you put a few of them out there. And as people buy them, that makes the price go up. Okay? You own the coin. He owns the crypto coin. The only value it has is what he says. Now imagine I am MBS from Saudi Arabia. You know, the guy that gave his son-in-law $2 billion as they left office last time around. Well, MBS calls him up and say, hey, I'm going to do you a favor. I'm going to buy some of them coins off of you. I get give me 100,000 of them at $50 a piece. That drives the price up, and he can put more out, and now they have some kind of value. Okay? They've got a price now. And that price is out of thin air. He just had somebody call up and buy 100,000 of them at $50 a pop. Yeah, we better check Fort Knox. Right, we better check. Keep this fool out at all costs. And it is sad. It's sad. But it's like you got to keep him out of everything. You know that petulant kid that you got to keep telling him, sit down, don't touch this, don't touch that. That's this guy. And I mean, and the other part to this story that is so sad that I still cannot grip is we have got a dude that's got more money than brains who is literally destroying his own companies right now. He's got what, 4 or 6 companies, and they're going in the tank. And this guy snorting whatever it is he's snorting or injecting it, because every time you see him, every time he opens his mouth, you know he high. You know he high. And he's destroying his companies, and he's running around like a roach in the government, leaving roach droppings behind. Yeah, that guy with his Doge roaches running around in all the nooks and crannies, leaving roach droppings everywhere. And there's not been a court in the land say, wait a minute, let's put the brakes on that and argue about whether that's legal or not. Because I've never in my entire life understood that the president could simply decide to turn some random dude loose in the government and have him ravage the same at will. To the point to where the cabinet members have to sit around and argue, hey, wait a minute, dude. I run my department, not you. What in the fuck? I'm sorry, but that's crazy. I mean, imagine I'm the French president, and all this time I thought America was like a superpower, impenetrable, and Elon Musk just walked into the entire government and started sending people home. All y'all go home. I'm shutting this part of the government down. You guys over there, go home. I'm shutting that part of the government down. You know, I'll figure out what y'all do, you know, sometime later. Just get on out of here. You know. Oh, all of y'all that's at home working, all y'all come on back Monday so I can fire you. Is it me? Maybe it's me. Maybe it's just me. You know. I don't know. Anyway. Now, there's one group of people that literally has to be banging their heads up against the wall right now. And I have to laugh. I gotta laugh so hard because it's so funny. Listen at this. Follow me, if you will. I get together in 1978 with some of the smartest people in the Republican Party, the most conservative minds in the nation, the most low-down, dirty, but the smartest genius criminal minds I can come up with in the conservative party. And for 40, 50 years, we come up with a foolproof plan. And we call it Project 2025. And all we need is a president that'll step in and put this plan to work. That's all we need. Just let us get this president. And we managed to convince enough of these idiots to give us their president. Except the president that they want to give us is so fucking stupid. He is so fucking stupid that instead of taking this plan we give him, that you can read one page to the next, and we can go through and surgically turn America into what we want. What does this god-awful bastard do? He goes and grabs a crackhead billionaire and turns him loose in the country. He's running around with a chainsaw. Oh! Really? Give me a break. Give me a break. You just, you can't make this up. You just can't make it up. Anyway, sorry about that rant. Anyway, let's hear from Todd Maffin. He's our resident Canadian who always has some wisdom for us. I'm going to try and put old Todd on a regular basis. Somebody asked me what his name was. You can find him on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok probably. Todd Maffin, I believe that's his name. Let's have some insight from my man.
Imagine if the world had a finite amount of oxygen. That every year oxygen is chiseled out of a mine somewhere and put on barges and trains and freight trucks and is shipped to different countries for its citizens to breathe. Now imagine if only 2 countries controlled that oxygen, that precious resource is only found in the mines of 2 nations. If you were the leader of a country that depended on that oxygen, how would you treat those 2 countries? Potash is not oxygen for humans, it's oxygen for food. It's a special kind of salt. It's really rich in potassium. And it's a really important part of fertilizer. Without potash, crops weaken, they succumb to disease, yields plummet. Potash is what keeps food growing. Crops like this one in my hometown of Nanaimo. And 2 countries control almost the entire global supply. America is not one of those countries. Incidentally, it produces almost no potash domestically. It imports more than 96% of what it needs, the vast majority of that from one of those two countries, Canada. That makes the U.S. dangerously dependent on a foreign supplier for one of its most essential agricultural inputs. And still, every few years, someone in Washington decides to fix that with tariffs. Back in 1969, the U.S. slapped high duties on Canadian potash, saying prices were unfair. The result? Higher prices for American farmers, higher prices in food, and the U.S. backed off. And now, the U.S. has put a 25% tariff on everything from Canada, including potash. That'll raise prices by more than $100 a ton. Higher cost to grow the crops, higher prices at the grocery store. None of this is brain surgery. And now, Trump is threatening to double the tariff. There's a scene in Star Wars, Episode 4, where Tarkin threatens to destroy Leia's home planet, Alderaan, to demonstrate the power of the Death Star. And she says to him, "The more you tighten your grip, the more star systems will slip through your fingers." Oppressive tactics backfire. Force breeds resistance, not submission. History proves that. Donald Trump probably hasn't seen Star Wars, so let's put it in simpler terms. Starving your own people is bad economics. So Americans, next time you bite into your bread, thank potash. Thank Canada. Because without Canadian potash, America's food supply would be at the mercy of the only other country in the world which produces it. The real world Death Star, Russia.
All right. Enough said. Well, well spoken. So, this is the position we're in. Okay? So, giddy up. We on this roller coaster. That's right. But hey, like I said, we have a power, and it is in our pocket. Let's keep it there, in our pocket. Let's keep it in our pocket, okay? Because while Trump's doing his thing, Canada doing their thing, Wall Street's doing their thing, how about we do our thing? How about we do our thing? Okay? I tell you what, anytime I can save some money, I'm all too willing. All too willing to keep some money in my pocket. Because, let's face it, understand something. They treat us bad when we out there trying to spend it anyway. You know how many times you went to the mall, and on the way to the mall, you see the cops got one of us pulled over. We done left the mall and then got pulled over by the cops. Tell you what, stop taking that money out there. And when you stop showing up out there and ain't nothing but a few of them other folks out there shopping, all of those non-melanin types, and it ain't enough for them to keep the mall open, somebody gonna ask some questions. Hey, how come ain't none of them out here shopping? When they stop you on the street and ask you, how come you're not out there shopping? Well, I'm not going out there because the cops are always fucking with me when I come out here to spend this money. I guarantee you the chief of police will get a phone call. Guarantee. I'm not coming out there because I don't like the way y'all treat me when I walk in the door. Guarantee you, security, the shop merchants, they're going to get a phone call. Guarantee you. The salespeople, oh, they're going to get a phone call. They're going to get a meeting. Hey, we need to have a meeting. Stop taking your money out there. And see, don't it be some changes. Now, you want to end racism? You want to get them to start having the conversation that we have been trying to have with them for 100 years? Stop taking your money. They had a conversation amongst themselves that should have been had a long time ago. They will have the conversation amongst themselves that they should have been having. All them ones out there doing this will start disappearing. They'll start telling them, hey, take that shit somewhere. We don't need that. You fucking up the money. Guarantee you. They will start having the conversation if we stop showing up. But as long as we coming out there, they get to get our cash and treat us like trash. So on that note, I'm going to leave y'all with some words of inspiration. Got some words of inspiration. Maybe. Kinda.
Fucking believe this shit. For some fucking strange reason, white people think this is our lesson. That y'all teaching us some shit. No, bitch! This is y'all motherfucking lesson to learn. This is y'all racism out here. We ain't part of this shit. When we say we sitting the fuck back and we not spending our money, it's done. It's no more motherfucking conversation to be had, motherfuckers. It is fucking over. You all have decided. You made the decision to alienate yourselves from blacks and people of color, and you think we about to learn a lesson. Something is fucking wrong with y'all. Every motherfucking day, it's some stupid ass, racist ass bullshit, and you think you hurting us? See, motherfuckers, we know who the fuck we are. We know who the fuck we are. It's you bitches that have no fucking clue. But it's our lesson to learn. You know what? Fuck y'all white people. I'm so sick of this shit. I'm so sick of this shit with y'all. This is y'all shit. You don't let them strip your fucking education, your fucking health care. They fucking with your food. You ain't gonna know what the fuck you're eating. They are fucking with everything about your body. All because y'all don't like black people.
Hey. Couldn't have said it better myself. Hey, you know what? Hey, Ronnie, they need to be having conversations now. And it's up to us to make sure they do. Okay? Let's bow out. Oh, y'all don't want us around? Oh. Pardon moi. Okay? Let's get going. You know. Anyway, just thought I'd lay that on you today. If you got anything that you want me to see, send me an email. Or you want to contact me, or just send me a message. Feel free to do so. So, let's do it. I say, let's keep our cash in our pocket. I'm going to keep an eye on the stock market. Because I can't wait. So, on that note, you all be careful. Be careful. Pray for one another because we need it. Stay healthy. Keep your head on a swivel. And I mean on a swivel. Because understand something. some of these fools that's losing they shit, some of them ain't got sense enough to understand who they need to be mad at. And they done spent way too much time lying to them about who they should be mad at. So as the man come cut they light and gas off and put their stuff out in the street and put that car up on the back of the tow truck, they gonna hop in that hillbilly Cadillac and be running around in the neighborhoods trying to do dumb shit. Keep your eyes open, okay? And when you see something that ain't looking right, let somebody know about it. Because some of them idiots gonna try to do some dumb shit. Okay? Putting that out there. All right? Let's watch out for each other. All right. On that note, I appreciate y'all for hanging out again. We'll do it again Wednesday. Wednesday at 7 p.m. See you right here. All right? All right. Take it easy.